Hey you guys, Matt Allen, Tim Little, welcome back to Tactical Bassin. Today is day 2 of our Buyer's Guide series, and we are talking about $200 combos. $200 casting combos and $200 spinning combos.
Today is day number 2 of the Buyer's Guide series. If you missed yesterday's video, we will link it up here and down below in the video description. That was $100 combos. Tomorrow, we're gonna move it up and up and up. So we have videos coming every day for you. So don't worry about notifications. Just know that every day we got a brand new Buyer's Guide for you. I'm gonna kick it off. Today we're doing $200 combos. I'm gonna start off with spinning. What's cool about this price point, $100 rod, $100 reel, you start really getting into that technique specific stuff. So I'm gonna start off with a spinning rod, like I said, a Dobyns Fury 702. Now this is a very sensitive rod. You can do all of your light finesse spinning applications, your Ned rigs, Senkos, Nico rigs, all of that sort of stuff. You're gonna have a lot more sensitivity, a little bit lighter rod than those cheaper, less expensive rods. I got that paired up. This guy right here, this is a Sahara 1000. You can go a little bit larger if you want. Again, paired up with braid. You always want to go braid to leader, especially on the more inexpensive rods. You'll get that extra boost in sensitivity. But this combo right here, you can go out anywhere right now and catch them with this combo right here. Like I said, the Dobyns Fury, the entire line, I'm going to talk about it a little bit longer in other rods, but a spinning rod, I wanted to do that because super versatile, right? You need to have all those finesse applications covered, and then you can move on to the casters.
Yeah, we just talked about in a recent video, we were picking those must-have rods, and both of our first rod is that spinning rod. My first one, right there at that same price point, is the Shimano SLX paired with a Noski. Again, a great combo where you're branching into those more technique-specific rods. You can get a rod that will still do a lot of different things, but now you've got some options. You can get a more specific rod than you could at a lower price point. You'll still have some overlap between them. It's not like ultra high-end gear where it's got one job, but you're definitely getting more dialed in than you were down there around the $50 price point. That SLX Noski combo is a rod that I keep in the boat a lot of the time. I fish it. People I bring out on the boat with me fish them. I've been very, very happy. That Noski has an excellent drag in it. I've caught big fish on it and had no issues.
For those of you guys that are new to the Buyer's Guides, we get requests for these to do all year long, but it's holiday time, it's shopping time, so we want to make it easy for the non-fisherman family member or friend to purchase you the gear that you want and like. So that is why we do these. It's a lot of fun. We get to spend the entire year kind of playing around with all the different brands, all the different models, and just really find those key rods and reels that stand out. So I'm going to start off with the Baitcaster. Again, I'm going to stick with that Dobyns Fury line. Again, very technique specific stuff. This is a 704, so a 7-foot 4-power rod. This is a rod you can do almost everything with. You can't throw big swim baits or flip or punch with it, but you can throw spinner baits, top waters, chatter baits, heavy jigs, that sort of stuff. You can do all of it, but if you really want to get technique specific, start with the 704. It does everything, but it does everything very, very well. I don't know if that makes sense. It does in my mind, but pair that up with an SLX. The only downside, because the SLX are phenomenal reels, the only downside is you got blue SLX and bright green Dobyns, but I don't know.
It is what it is.
So, but again, the whole entire line of the Fury. Can I keep going?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. What I meant by the Fury line is, right here, this is a 795. So this is a light swim bait rod. You can throw your big top waters on it. So again, you're not having the do everything rods. You can get technique specific. So as you really want to hone in that specific technique, now you're in a price point to get those rods that are made for that technique. So this is a 7'9", 5-power, a little bit slower action to throw those big top waters, throw those bigger swim baits, those treble hook swim baits. But again, the Fury line has an entire line of rods for specific techniques.
Yeah, I think you just nailed it, because a lot of people, like me, for example, I'll take a specific rod from one brand, a specific rod from another brand for very specific jobs on my boat. But a lot of anglers would prefer a lineup of rods. They want to pick one line of rods that will meet their needs so that every time they pick them up, they know exactly what they're getting. And Fury absolutely does that. You can do everything from a giant swim bait down to ultra finesse in one line.
Right.
Another line that does that, I'm right back, same as Tim, SLX again. SLX paired with an SLX. Now, this brings something up that we haven't addressed yet. This has been a challenging year for all of us in our personal lives, in trying to conduct business. This has been a crazy year for everybody in the world. The fishing industry is no different. It is hard to get gear. So the SLX SLX is an excellent combo if you can find them. They have been out of stock almost the entire year. As a result, I've been playing with all sorts of other gear. You have too. We've branched out farther than we've ever branched before because a lot of the gear we were used to, you just couldn't get. So it was prime time to try all sorts of new things. So I think we both agree the SLX reel for the price is just out of this world. It's way good for $100. That's why you're seeing it on all these different rods. But because I couldn't get SLX casting rods for most of the year, when I needed to try a couple of different things, I went Intenza. One step up from SLX. It's up like another 20 bucks, I think. So we're breaking out of the $200 price a little bit. We're climbing up.
Cheater.
Every year I cheat. But the Intenza is a huge step up for a couple of reasons. You get a different style of grip, different detailing, but here's the important part. We're talking technique specific. All of a sudden, the rods get way more specific. You want a longer spinning rod. You want a big deep crank rod versus a square bill rod. You've got some real options in that lineup. So I still pair up to an SLX. You're spending a little bit more, but most of those are available. Not all of them. Some of them are just completely gone, and we'll see that throughout the buyer's guide this year. We've seen it all year long. It's been hard to get tackle, but a lot of them are there, and they are definitely worth a look.
Yeah, this year it's been so hard to get things, right?
To do anything.
So back ordered. So I mean, it doesn't matter. Not just in the fishing industry. Just everything is just so messed up and behind. But it's allowed us to use a lot of different things and really branch out. The last rod that I want to talk, or last combo that I want to talk about, is the St. Croix. This is the Bass X series. I got to really play around with this when I was shooting some kayak videos and some pond fishing videos. I was throwing, this is a 4-power rod. I was throwing a little glide bait, a little 6-inch glide bait. Had a lot of fun on it. Handled that bait really well. I was throwing some soft swim baits with it. I was throwing a little heavier jig. But again, the Bass X, the entire line, just like these other lines, very good. I mean, it should be at a higher price point, I think. But I know you really like the Bass X line as well. But I went ahead and paired that up with the matchy SLX. Luckily, St. Croix, the Bass X line, does does the blue accents. So you're not doing lime green and bright red and all that stuff. But the Bass X line, you can't go wrong with it. The St. Croix guys, they make a phenomenal rod, and it fits right there in that price point. So that SLX Bass X rod is a winner.
So if I can jump in there, this video is actually pretty basic, right? There are, at this price point, there are sort of these 3 rods that we feel like have got it locked up.
Right.
It's a St. Croix Bass X, Dobbins Fury, and a Shimano SLX. Now, because you can't get an SLX, you can spend a little more, and that Intenza is a step from there. But those 3 lines of rods really have done a good job of locking it up. As we jump up tomorrow, we jump up to $400 combos. You're going to start seeing it spread out quite a bit.
A lot more options.
A lot more options, and rods that are really dialed in, reels that are really dialed in. But at this price point, you could take any of these 3 lines. Like Tim said, I love Bass X. They're phenomenal rods, but I also love SLX and Fury. Fish with all of them.
Yeah, well, it depends on what you want, right? Like the Fury line, if I'm going to go start throwing swim baits, they have a whole dedicated line for big top waters and swim baits. If I want to throw middle, size stuff, Bass X has a whole middle of the line class. So it all depends on what you want to do, and that's you can't go wrong with any of these 3.
Right.
So yeah, I agree.
So guys, this one pretty narrowed down for you. We'll have all the rods, we'll have the reels all linked in the video description. We will also include from each one of these lineups our favorite models, those particular models
Standouts.
that just stood out from the crowd. Exactly. Again, tomorrow, $400 combos. These videos are coming every single day as we roll through the buyer's guide. We're doing rods and reels first. We're doing that for a reason. Again, this year, it has been difficult to get gear. I'm afraid as you get closer and closer and closer to Christmas, gear is going to be gone. So we started with rods and reels because we know that's most important. After that, we'll start talking baits and gear. We'll go from there. If you guys enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you tomorrow.
See you guys.